Hey, Super Cruisers! It's Frank and Kevin from Cruising with Wheels.
This is Q&A 41.
That's right, we're back for another exciting Q&A.
Now, all these Q&As come from you, the subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, though, simply click the subscribe button and activate that bell, because that will get you regular notifications of when our videos go live. I also implore our subscribers to please take a moment and check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because YouTube is playing some funny games lately and unsubscribing some of you subscribers.
Yes.
Oh, you know what else you can do? Hop on over to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Because we are there. Frank also has a special Facebook group page.
It's a private Facebook group called Cruise Chat.
And we would love to welcome you there. We have thousands of cruisers on there, and we discuss anything that has to do with cruising. Have a question, put it there. Maybe it'll show up on one of these Q&As.
You asked, and we're going to answer.
Let's get right to it, though. Let's jump right in.
All right, question number 1 comes from Rachel. Rachel says, I just watched your video, Budget Busters. Cruise Budget Busters. I had a good time doing that one. On all the hidden costs of cruising. What an eye-opener. You are correct, Rachel. It is. The price advertised is not the price in the end of what the cost will be. Thanks so much for the info. You are so right. Because you know what? I was saying to my mom last night, an advertisement came up for Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean 7-day cruise, $3.99. And I looked at her and I went, it's not. And why is that?
Well, it sounds good when you see that ad.
Right,
it really, really does. But you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know.
If you've never cruised and you're a newbie, you don't know about taxes and port fees, the daily gratuities per person,
booking fees, insurance.
Yes.
All those things that are automatically charged.
Right. Again, I encourage all of you to watch the video I did on Cruise Budget Busters.
Link above.
On our YouTube channel, because it is eye-opening. So when you call your travel agent and say, oh my God, I just saw this, book it, $3.99, and they call back and say, okay, I got it all set. Your grand total is $3,249.58. And she's like, what? No, it's $3.99. I saw it on the ad.
Well, basically, Rachel, this is how it works. The cruise line wants to get you excited.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what cruise line it is. They are not going to show you the total price.
The hidden fees.
They are only going to show you the base rate. So that $3.99 that you're seeing is probably for an inside cabin, category 1. So there are multiple categories within each cabin type.
Right.
And, you know, there's going to be all these extra things that are added onto it. So, indeed, it was not false advertising. It was $3.99 and up.
Right.
We are very careful, you know. Our next question comes from Robert.
Right. Robert asks, my friend insists that we wait till the last possible moment to book our cruises so we get the best price and deal possible. But that makes me very nervous. Is he right, or am I right to be nervous?
Well, there are pros and cons to both.
Right.
And what we have said consistently is that your best price is the first day that cruise comes out for sale or the last day that cruise is for sale, right?
Right.
The pros of booking it right when you see it is that you'll get to be able to pick the cabin you want, most likely. If you're handicapped, you're going to need to book it
early, because handicap accessible cabins go fast and there's only a limited amount on an entire ship.
Another pro that I can think of booking it as far out as possible is you have a lot of time to pay for that cruise and budget for it.
Budget for it every week, every month, or whatever. Lots of time.
And if it goes on sale right? And you've already booked it. It's just a phone call away to say,
Right.
hey, that cabin that I booked, that I paid $2,000 for, is now on sale for $1,500. And most likely, you will either get a credit back for the extra money that you've paid for that, or you will get onboard credit
Right.
or some type of perk.
Right. It never hurts to ask. Pick up the phone, make the call.
Now, what are some pros to waiting till the last minute?
Well, wait until the last minute is the cruise lines want to, book every cabin they can.
Exactly.
So they're going to be like, okay, we have so many left. We're sailing in a few days. And, we're going to sometimes give this stuff away.
Mm-hmm.
They want to fill bodies in the cabin. Sorry about that.
I'm leering at him because I hate when he pounds on the table. Because then I have to try to take it out at post film.
I am now holding my finger.
So that would be a pro, right?
Right.
A pro would be maybe you're spontaneous. And
Right.
that's
You
what
have that
want.
kind of personality, and it's being spontaneous. That can be exciting and like a daredevil kind of, just jumping into things. And that's the way you want to live your life. It sounds like these two friends are opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right. And I can also think that a con would be, oh my God, I have to come up with all this money.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so
not everybody.
it's great if
can
you're
do
if
it,
you're sitting
right?
with all this money in a bank account and you just go, oh, here, no problem. There you go, charge it.
A big con for me is you end up with what they got.
What's left? Right. What's left?
So,
but
that's a pro.
that's a
too.
pro because what they have left could be a suite that you could get for a really, really good price. So you got to weigh the options.
You got to weigh the options.
You got to trust your friend, Robert. You got to trust your friend. You got to live the high life that he's living. Go with the flow. Chill out. I don't know.
Our next question comes from Betsy, and she wrote us and said, I can be a bit of a bedding snob, but do cruisers really bring their own pillows and bedding on board with them? Now, you pointed to me. We don't do that. We don't bring our own bedding, but I am a bedding snob.
Bedding snob.
Why don't you tell them a little story about sandpaper?
Stop. He used to think that the sheets I had on my bed when we just met were like, oh my God, what is this? 5 thread count? It feels
Oh my God,
like
I just cut myself.
sandpaper. I turned over in bed and I cut my arm. Honestly. No,
They really were horrible. He has seen the light, and he has now turned into a bedding snob. We usually purchase between 500 and 1,500 thread count sheets. You will admit live
They're
on
nicer,
camera
yes.
right now, they're nicer.
Of course they are.
And your favorite
They're
one
more
is the 1,500
Yeah,
thread
they're
count.
substantial. You can't see through them like paper.
They don't wrinkle
Right.
as much.
Right.
They wash well.
Right. But like, getting
And
back.
we've had them a long time.
Yes. Now getting back to Betsy.
Getting back to
Yes,
Betsy.
Betsy. Believe it or not, they do bring them.
I just wanted to get it on record, guys. They, like he said, they really do
They
bring
do.
them. We see people bringing them all the time.
They want their own sheets and pillows.
And we can't speak to why. I mean, I think it's insane.
It's just more stuff to bring on board
it's
with
just
your
more to
clothing
bring.
and everything else that you now got a whole case or package or whatever filled with your bedding and pillows. Holy moly.
Well, I had a discussion. Now, we didn't talk about this before the video. You're going to be horrified. But I had a discussion with, about a year ago, or maybe it was 2 years ago, with someone about this issue.
Oh, okay.
And they said that they bring their own pillow and they bring their own sheets because they're worried about bed bugs. And what I brought up to them was, if you take your own sheets and your own pillows and there's bed bugs there, you're bringing them
back.
home.
In fact, you're bringing them all in your luggage, in your home. I don't get it. That's kind of that's
So
crazy.
I blew them right out of the water with that.
Out of the water.
The next question comes from Carrie, and she wrote, picking a cabin and deck. All my friends are very very different views about this, whether you pick forward, after, mid, and how high up or how low you go.
Everybody's got their own formula.
Well,
But again, it goes to personal. Some people like aft cabins.
right.
Forward.
We've been everywhere on the
we
ship.
have.
We've been aft, we've been forward, we've been mid, we've been high, we've been low.
Right.
I shouldn't have said we've been high.
It sounds like a song. We've been high, we've been low.
But Frank and I's personal favorite spot to get is mid-ship, middle of the decks.
Right.
So
Close
if it's
to the elevators.
Right.
And middle of the ship, not too forward, not too back.
I
because
gotta say though,
the walk of shame is a tough walk, people.
I gotta say, the best cabin I feel location-wise that we had. It wasn't the best cabin we've had overall, but the best cabin we've for location was when we were on that Carnival cruise and we were on the Lido dock.
Oh yeah.
Remember, we walked out the door and we went right to the right there at the pool.
In the food.
In the food. I was going to say the buffet.
Oh, he didn't mention the food.
So it is going to be personal. You're going to have to take, I'm really sorry, this is really hard, but you're going to have to take a few cruises.
I was just going to say that you won't know until you're actually on the ship and say, you know what?
Which brings me back to Rachel.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right, exactly.
So take a few cruises, try different locations on the ships. Try the aft, try the forward, try the middle.
Listen to your friends and listen to the pros and the cons if you've never cruised, Carrie, and then make your decision.
Exactly.
The next question comes from Lisa. Now, Lisa says, I remember Kevin telling a crazy story about clients of his who never left the cabin to eat.
Oh, my God.
They thought it was room service only and didn't know about any of the restaurant venues on board. How is that possible?
Well, they're stupid.
No.
I don't know. I don't
It
know.
happened.
It happened. I
Yeah.
have no idea why they didn't feel like they could go anywhere and eat anywhere.
Didn't they come back and say, I don't know what the big deal is about the food?
Yep, she didn't know what the big deal was about
because
the food.
menu in our room didn't have much on it. And you were like, what?
Yeah.
And you're like, but with all the restaurants? What do you mean? And she went, what restaurants?
So I feel like they've gone on another cruise since then, and they really enjoy it now.
Live and learn, people.
But the way it was explained to me is where their cabin was. They got on the ship. Mm-hmm. They went right to their cabin, and it was right near the atrium. And they never got out and explored the ship.
Oh, see, there you go.
They never. They would get. They would go to a lounge, but they never really went. They thought like the restaurants
But then
were lounges,
apparently they didn't even do their research
and it was
before they left.
And it was a short cruise.
Right.
So because it was something they were trying.
Right.
So they just figured you got on. It's your floating hotel. There's your room. We get off now. We get back on. You know, at a hotel, you order room service.
That's crazy.
Now they love cruising.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So,
okay.
I mean, all right.
Again, a good travel agent is essential. Information, do your research, you book a cruise. Go to the website, study that deck plan. I mean, find out what's on board. They missed out on so much.
Kathy wrote in and she said, if I have a bad meal at a specialty restaurant where I've paid money for it, right?
Yep.
Can I get a refund, or is it too bad, so sad? Just don't eat there again.
Well, I have to say that that has happened to us.
That has happened to us.
We were.
But you complain when it happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because we were eating at we were on an NCL cruise at
I don't want to say we're complainers.
No, but we complain when there's a right to complain.
Right,
When
it's
it was an
warranted.
NCL cruise, and we were at La Cucina. Again, they kept futzing with the menu. Every time you go on an NCL ship, La Cucina was always, the menu was different, and it's very aggravating. I had the worst meal ever. It was horrible. Everything was awful about it. And as I just picked at it, didn't even eat much of it. I was like, this is ridiculous, paid for it. And on the way out, the hostess made the big mistake of her life when she said to me, she asked the question, so, did you enjoy your meal? Uh-oh, not good. She got an earful and an onboard credit. Quickly came our way with also a gift to the cabin.
But I think that going forward in the future, we've changed the way that we've complained or said things. Because if there's something wrong with the meal as you're eating it, you should address it with the waiter immediately. You shouldn't wait.
But if the food is
and just
awful,
pick.
then it's awful. Can I bring you something else? No, it's what I see I don't like, I don't eat. I don't eat fish, I don't eat this, I don't want... So no, you can't bring me anything else. There isn't anything to bring. What I ordered is what I wanted. That was
I know,
pretty
but
much it.
I would have thought that, we would leave and go to a different restaurant.
No. Well, we probably... No,
No.
I have to tell you that we probably would have,
Yeah.
but she asked. And, well, that just opened the floodgates.
So what did Rita ask us?
Well, Rita says, first-time cruiser here, going spring of 2022. I've heard from other cruisers that there are security people at the ports with dog-sniffing checks. Before you actually get into town or whatever. Is this true?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you got to wait in line as you get off the ship and you go down.
Well, there are guards in both locations.
Oh, yeah, in and out.
There will be on the ship, and then it will be on the pier.
Right, and they're making sure that you're not bringing things into the country that you shouldn't, whether that be drugs or fruits and vegetables that don't belong there that may contaminate the island. And on the way back, they're there searching. Remember, you open your bag, and they're going through it. And that's before we even get to the ship, where the ship's guards are checking.
The bag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
So, that's true.
And some ports have dog checkpoints.
Yes, yeah.
To check for drugs or
sniff.
illegal items. So it is absolutely true.
Yeah.
The next question comes from Clark. He writes, you need to talk about ship time, and he put that in quotations, versus the, quote, actual time of the port you are in.
Yeah.
We were unable on our last cruise.
Unaware
on our last cruise, and almost had a crisis.
And the crisis would be, you missed the ship.
Right, that would be a crisis. That would be a big crisis.
Right.
So there basically are 2 times when you're cruising.
Yeah.
Or it could be.
Could be.
It's not always.
Yeah.
But when the ship is sailing, it might have crossed an international time zone, and you need to fall back or go ahead. We've been in both situations.
Right. Always go by the ship's clock time.
Ship's time.
Ship time.
Always.
And you will see signs on the gangway when you're getting off that will tell you
in most
ship time.
In most instances, when time is changing, I can't think of what cruise we were on. You'll get a little card, and it'll say
tomorrow,
tonight at midnight, we are changing time
Could
from going back
because
an hour.
Tomorrow we'll be in the port of
blah, blah, blah.
And there's a difference of an hour. And then again, you'll see all the signs, and you want to make sure that your time is set properly to the ship time, and so that everybody gets back on the ship properly.
This is why we say bring a cheap watch and set that watch to ship's time when you are going ashore. Do not, under any circumstances, count on your phone.
No.
Because the time on your phone may not catch up. I remember we were on a cruise. I think it was our Valentine's Day cruise on the NCL Gem, where my phone never updated, ever. And we changed twice.
Right, and we were still on all this old time.
And we were still...
So rely on a manual watch that you can have. And I have a watch, because I always wear a watch, but I got Kevin a little watch that hooks to his backpack. So that he has it. So again, because you know him, he lives with his phone, and you can't kind of do that. So we both have watches of our own style.
Right, and I really love that it just hooks on. It could hook onto my belt. It could hook any place.
Hooks up to any little loop.
It was great. I think we got it online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best money we ever spent.
Next question comes from Alicia. Hey, Alicia. My husband just wants to board the ship and head to the nearest bar and sit there all day until dinner.
Wow, lordy.
I want us to explore the ship and make plans. He can sit in the bar anytime at home.
Well, that's true.
Where's your question there, Alicia?
Again, Alicia, we try to help, but we're not therapist. I mean, you know, my answer was like, you're married to him and you're telling us this is what he wants to do because kind of this is what he does. Good luck.
You know what I say to this?
Pick someone else.
I say the cruise can be whatever it wants to be for everyone.
Right.
So if that's what he wants to do, let him go to the bar, let him drink his head off. You go and you have a good time.
Yeah, but
honey.
you go with your husband, your wife, your partner, your friends, whoever, and it's a couple experience. I mean, for Lord, you just might as well go by yourself. It's like if you're going with your husband, I want us to do stuff. I want us to enjoy this. But it's like, you know, no, gets on the ship and he says to the wife, bye, and heads to the bar and she never sees him again and drinks all day. Oh, well, you know, I don't go for that. I say again, Alicia, you bought it, you own it. I don't know what to tell you. I would pick someone else. I would go with a friend or, you know, if that's what he wants to do, he could sit at home and do that. Why are we wasting the money on him?
Right. Well, our final question comes from Larry. So
Hello,
good luck,
Larry.
Alicia. But
Right.
we're on to Larry now. What's Larry
He says,
saying?
my wife always ends up buying too much junk at every port. How do I convince her that we don't need to bring home every knick-knack that they make?
Knick-knack, paddywhack, give
Yeah.
your dog a bone.
So, yeah, she's a little obsessed.
Well, you can tell your husband that there's no room in your luggage is one thing.
His wife. She's a spend.
Yeah,
She's a spend.
you can tell her there's no room in her in the luggage.
You said you can tell your husband that there's no room.
Oh, well, you can tell your husband that there's no room, too. Well, maybe Larry wants a husband now.
I trade
Get
her
rid
in.
of her.
She sounds like a spender. Go for somebody who...
So basically just tell her that there's not room in your luggage, right?
Right.
But I don't think that that's going to solve the problem.
She's a spender.
Because she'll just say, oh, honey, I'll just buy another bag.
Well, that's true, because that's what you would say.
That's what I would say.
But maybe you could convince her that if we give up all the ridiculous, you know, some of these knick-knack things that you're just going to collect dust at home and you might have duplicates of, because you can only buy so much at the ports. You keep visiting the same ports.
Are you
then
thinking about a bauble?
I'm thinking that maybe some special jewelry speaks volumes, that if she cuts down on the junk, that maybe you would buy her something really nice as a cruise memento. And maybe that'll convince her if she finds that something of value is coming her way.
Could be. Maybe she's not a jewelry person, though.
Yeah, you're going to have to find out what she really wants other than the cheap knickknacks at the port.
You know what might work with me?
What?
I mean, I'm not really a knick-knacky spender, but just approaching her and saying, you know, if you didn't buy so many knickknacks, we could take another
cruise. Right, right. So there you go, people. I want to thank you for joining us for this latest Q&A. And again, remember to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
You can send your questions there, or you can send your questions, comments, and ideas for videos to
our new email address, cruisingwithwheels@gmail.com.
But until next time, we want to remind you all to
Travel safe.
and cruise often.